Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, Mike Beer. The Preakness post positions have been drawn for the second jewel in racing's Triple Crown. Let's take a look at them right now. Always Dreaming, gentlemen, the 4-5 morning line favorite for Todd Pletcher, John Velazquez. He draws post position 4, and Mike, that makes me think John Velazquez has got to get a little bit aggressive out of the gate.
Yeah, I guess he come out of there running. There's just the thing with him is I don't think it really matters where he drew in this race. There's just not that much other speed to go with him in here.
What is going to happen with the 5 Classic Empire? Matt, he did not break very well in the Kentucky Derby. He draws right outside his main competition. And as we saw in races like the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he can get a good forward spot. I think Julien Leparoux is going to be keeping an eye on John Velazquez and shadowing him throughout.
I agree with that. I think he's got the perfect position where you can allow Always Dreaming to go. You've got Conquest Mo Money on the far outside. You would imagine he's going to be sent. Leparoux is going to have probably a 180 difference as opposed to the trip and the break that he got 2 weeks ago at Churchill Downs.
Mike, Conquest Mo Money draws the far outside post. He has good speed, and he's got a couple of late runners inside of him that shouldn't impede him from getting a forward position, most notably looking at Lee and Senior Investment. In many ways, gents, Conquest Mo Money is the key to this race because he probably has the best early speed of any horse in this race. And if this jock wants to go, maybe he forces Always Dreaming and Classic Empire to take a seat.
Maybe he does. I guess from post 10, he's got to come out of there running. Maybe that will lead to him being on the front in here. Personally, I'm not so sure that he's that much faster than Always Dreaming is early. And I'll be honest with you, I'd be kind of surprised if Velazquez was just going to concede the lead to this horse. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe this horse will be intent on the front and he will make the front. But if he's not going hard, I don't think Johnny's just going to concede the lead down.
Cloud Computing, a new shooter in this race for Chad Brown. Javier Castellano draws post position 2 with a late kicker inside of him in Multiplier, a mid-pack to late runner outside of him with Hence. We know that Cloud Computing, Matt, has good tactical speed. I'm expecting Javier to break, keep an eye on Always Dreaming, Classic Empire, and Conquest Mo Money, and sort of tuck in and save valuable ground.
I would agree with that too. And keep in mind, he was about a step slow breaking in the wood most recently, and that kind of put him up against the way everything worked out that day. But with this post position, you've got Always Dreaming who's going to go. You've got Classic Empire who's not going to be that far out of it, I don't think, and Conquest Mo Money will go. I think he tries to work out some sort of a pocket trip.
I don't really see anyone that was truly compromised by their post positions in here. Horses like Looking at Lee, that outside post shouldn't bother him. Multiplier down on the inside shouldn't bother him. We know they're going to be in the early portion of the race. They're going to be near the back of the pack. Okay, let's try to map this out for the folks at home. After the first quarter mile, who are your top 4 and where are they going to be on the track?
I think Classic Empire is going to be right up close to, as Matt said, right up close to Always Dreaming, who I still think Always Dreaming will be on the lead in here. Maybe not. I think the Conquest Mo Money will be up close from the outside post, but I just think he's in a little bit too deep here. And Cloud Computing, I think, is going to try and track the leaders in this race.
Matt, your top 4.
The interesting thing is going to be to see just how hard-ridden Conquest Mo Money is from the outside, because Always Dreaming, I think we're going to get a situation similar to what we had at Churchill 2 weeks ago, where Johnny V was in a bit of a tough spot there too. And guess what? Next thing you know, he's pressing the pace and he gets him to angle out. If Carreno is just intent on making the lead, I think John's going to say, you know what, fine, if you want it, go ahead.
Sending, right.
But there's a scenario where he's just simply not fast enough to outfoot a horse like Always Dreaming.
That's really the key. Is he fast enough? Because I think these folks, they're not here to sit off of Always Dreaming and Classic Empire on a 3-wide trip and see that they can finish with those 2 horses. I think they want to put the pressure on those 2. I think Conquest Mo Money's on ascent. I think Johnny V is going to ride Always Dreaming like he did in the Derby. Whether Julien Leparoux lets him out, that's going to be an interesting cat and mouse game with Classic Empire breaking outside of Always Dreaming. Maybe Classic Empire puts enough pressure and forces Always Dreaming down towards the inside. It's really going to be fascinating the first quarter mile, first 3 furlongs.
Nothing else. Yeah, it's a very interesting tactical race with those 2 drawn right next to each other.
It's also going to be interesting to see what happens with Classic Empire. It seems like these past, I understand the Churchill race was a little bit different, but the Arkansas Derby, he was a little bit farther back. Now you got to try to get that gas back into him, and we've seen he's gotten a little bit tired in these past 2 races.
And he gets a little bit hopped up and a little bit anxious in front of the crowd. He was a little bit better before the Kentucky Derby, but I have a feeling that Julien understands, you know, the horse to beat's down inside. I can't let him get too far away. I think the key is break, Always Dreaming go, hopefully Conquest Mo Money goes, then he's sitting in that 3-wide tracking trip, and I think that would be a very comfortable spot for Mark Casse and Julian Leparoux. We'll see how it shakes out this Saturday for the Preakness, race number 13 at Pimlico on Saturday. Always Dreaming, the Kentucky Derby winner, drew post position 4 and has been installed as the 4-5 morning line favorite.